Gunners, welcome to another huge edition of All In. I'm joined by young boy from Bondi who's up and about, young Lewis Willoughby. Geez, you'd be excited, Louis. Hey, been at Roosters training all week, have you?
Yeah, the train rolls on, huh? It was heart attack stuff there on Saturday night. Wasn't the most convincing of wins. But I saw people saying that probably one of the better Roosters finals performances of all time. And like our footy was dreadful stuff. But gee, the defence and the spirit with injuries. Suwali didn't come back on at half-time. Manu went off. We had young Sandon Smith playing fullback there at one stage. Like, it was just shambles stuff, and we managed to hold them out. So, the train rolls on, mate. On to Melbourne we go. Down in the graveyard, that'll be hard. But they got some injuries too, so we'll see. Oh, but this is a racing show. So the racing's also really good this Saturday. Group 1's in Melbourne's and some pretty keen sprint races up in Sydney. It'll be good as well.
We love our rugby league, and there's a boy from the South Coast who somehow he's managed to support the Broncos. Dean Watling, well done on the Broncos finally doing something good.
Yeah, thanks, boys. It was a good win on Friday night. I don't know if I think we were on the opposite side of the draw, the Roosters. So you'll probably be thankful of that because we probably
turn it up.
Turn it up. It was good racing, good UFC. NFL's back, sports on, and we kick on to another big week, which will have no doubt some ramifications for some big Group 1s to come up.
Huge racing in Sydney, but before we touch on that, we'll go to Flemington, the Makybe Diva Stakes. Massive race here. Mr. Brightside, $2.50. Alligator Blood, $4.50. Princess Grace, $6. Amelia's Jewel, doubtful, $8. Ozapenko, $11. Zaki, $11. Amenable, $15. Attrition, $15. Fangirl, $15. Francesco Guardi, $15. A few of those aren't confirmed to head down there, but those odds are all courtesy of Tab. Louis, why don't you kick us off with Flemington?
Yeah, looking at that market, Mr. Brightside 2 from 2 this prep, had to do it pretty tough. 3 wide, no cover there to win. 350 into 250 already. The funny thing is, the good thing, obviously, about having a horse like Mr. Brightside is he becomes a superstar. He's the pin-up horse and blah, blah, blah. The bad thing is, it hurts the all-in betting market. You can't really really find a bet anymore. So it's great to watch him go around and just excel. But in terms of finding bets and finding winners, it becomes hard. The one I picked out this morning, perhaps that could start shorter than the $6. I note that it was $8 not that long ago. Princess Grace. So SP profile, $21 first up, minor placed, $6.50 last start behind Mr. Brightside, minor placed. If you're picking at straws, is there a case to say that maybe it would have gone close? It had to find its way around Anavisto, who was fading on the rail.
Isn't the worst ground as well, Lou?
Huh?
2 runs in a row, she's been in the worst ground.
Yep, just finding, losing a few strides there compared to a few others, was beaten under a length. That's probably a case to be made. Did have a pretty gun run in saying that, though. But, just maybe got held up for a bit there. I went and looked back at her profile. Out to a mile should really suit. She's multiple Group 2 winner over the 1,700 metres in the US and was Group 1 placed up to 1,800 metres. I think they're on a Cox Plate path as well. So there's no worry about this step up here. And as I said off the top, it's SP profile of $21 and $6.50 and now 2 good runs at those prices. Could she start shorter than the $6 on offer? I would think the answer could be yes. But I note that she's also in for the $1 million mile race in Sydney on the weekend, so who knows what's going to happen. I don't know. But Princess Grace at $6 was the one I picked out. Dino?
Yeah, I think this is a good race. We could probably find a little bit of an edge against Brightside. Like you mentioned, Louis, each run is sort of getting shorter and shorter in the market. I think 3 wide, no cover last start. I think you could probably say maybe out a length or so. But then when you review the meeting, you saw Benedetto, who come out, sat 3 wide as well. I think it was an advantage to be close to the speed on the outside. The inside lanes are inferior. So I like the case you made there for obviously Princess Grace. I think she's the one in the market. And Alligator Blood, don't forget the record of this horse second up and the stable second up. They often improve their horses dramatically second up. And you look at the speed of this race. He's the one who can always get control of a race. He's got an outstanding record down at Flemington as well. So I think the 2 in the market you can probably find, Alligator Blood and Princess Grace, just at prices to be against Brightside Gannon. And the other one we haven't talked about was Zaki. He was really good first up, Wing Stakes off 1 soft trial. He's the one who's going to improve sharply second up, but he's in the same category as Princess Grace. Do they go to Melbourne? Do they go to Sydney Gannon?
Yeah, it's just interesting. So Trav Noonan did an article for racing.com, and just referencing that here, Princess Grace, Blake Shin booked to ride. So you would think with Blake been confirmed to ride. The horse would most likely stay down there and race down there, gents. So not a bad push there. As a horse I'm really keen on backing, and I know this is probably not the time, but I think he's got a big race in him, is Duke de Sessa. Obviously, the Doncaster was luckless first Australian run in the Doncaster. Now, it was a last start it was behind Mr. Brightside, I'm pretty sure, what the race was. But
the men's stakes.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. It looked like a run, but just screamed 2,000 metres. Can we fill a hole on the way through to that 2,000 metres? I think we can. You're getting around $7-8 the place. So I'll make Duke de Sessa the my all in play in the Group 1 Makybe Diva. Just here, sorry, we'll get to you in a sec, but the rest of what we're going to go through here today is we're going to be just relax, son. We're just going to go through the rest of these fields and just talk about runners that we're probably going to follow because there's no market out. Lou, you're off, son. What do you got?
Yeah, I'll just stop you there, Dino. This bloke's often gone like ball of muscle in an 800 metre. Can I come back to you for 1 second? Do you have a horse to follow from Saturday, mate, that we just kind of completely skipped over at the start of the potty? Because there were some good runs there on Saturday. If you can get it through, you can throw in.
Listen, mate, this is not Sky Racing, so I'm running the show. We'll get to that when the time's ready. Let's head to Randwick on Saturday, and we are going to a rail that's 7 metres from the thousands to the winning post, and then 4 metres for the remainder. So dry track on speed may have its favours with a 4 metre rail. They're always hard to make up ground. And Louis, I can't wait to hear you've got a horse to follow because you're obviously very keen. But let's kick off in the 7 stakes and have a chat about that. Some runners of note here that are nominated: Fangirl, Duke de Sessa, also there, going global for Chris Waller, Hinged as well. Huya Mal, a horse I know you guys are very keen on, Lindemann, and the list goes on. Princess Grace, Pericles, Think It Over, Zaki. Dino, you want to kick off with any horses that you may have wanted to follow into the 7 stakes?
Yeah, a couple of horses that I want to look at. Zaki's the big one. Like I said before, the sort of soft trial into a first-up run. I know they wanted to go to the Tramway first up, and Annabelle thought he trialled too good not to throw him in the Wink stake. So that probably tells me that he's got conditions to come, especially not having that second trial. And I've been on the record of saying he's an out-and-out 14 to sort of 16, 1,800 metre horse. That's where I love to back him. So Gates depending, obviously, a lot, Gannon, with that rail out so far, but he's the one I'd love to find in this race. And the other one that I'd like to find is probably Think It Over. I think he's third up now, Rock Hard Fit. He'll be the map horse. He always tends to draw a good gate, and even if he doesn't, 1,600 metre start at Randwick. You've got
That's
the
entire... I've never heard one, Lou.
Entire back straight. So he'll draw 20 of 20 this week, but don't worry, you've got 600 metres, Kerry, and Nash to find the front. So they're the 2, Gannon, for me. Think It Over.
You're incredible. Kerry Parker's just choked on his sausage roll, mate. Fair income. Louis, what do you got for us in the 7 stakes?
Yeah, I was going to mention Zaki as well. Also for that, probably unlikely to go with the $1 million up for grabs here in Sydney, but was in the Makybe Diva nominations, all in market, rather. And at the $11, I think it was on the drift, so it's probably telling that it won't go there. But if it did, there's maybe one that could start shorter. The first up run was okay, as you mentioned, should be better here second up. Agree, Think It Over. The other one I could maybe just throw in is a very informed Pericles for Godolphin, who's 2 from 2 this prep, and led them up over the 1,400 metres and won by about a length their last start. Comes to the mile, but maybe price depending, against a pretty hot field, it seems, but just a horse that's really informed that could maybe lob among those top 3 place getters. But yeah, it's a good little field on these, not little, good strong field. 20 nominations for the $1 million 7 stakes there at Sydney at Randwick on Saturday. So it should be a good race. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to see what price they put up. Huya Mal, I thought it was probably a horse that we could definitely follow there. Let's look at the shorts. Group 2, 1,100 metres. There's some really, really good horses here that come into Everest contention here. Bella Nipotina, Buenos Nachos, Hawaii 5-0. I've got big questions over that horse being an Everest contender. In Secret, of course, will be there. Lost and Running, Marzu, Overpass, Private Eye, Remark, Ruthless Dame, and Dino's old mate Shelby 66. Fair income. What are we doing?
My mate.
Kick us off in the shorts. There's obviously no markets out yet, but what are your thoughts on the race as you see it?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal race. It's going to be outstanding. Obviously, the rail out's going to play a couple of parts, but I think there's a couple of slots that horses need to put their hands up through, and I think I'd be right in saying that the Shorts has produced a couple of Everest winners. I think Classic Legend came through this race. So the two that I really want to arrow in on Gunner, you've been bullish with this horse at the trials, Lost and Running. He had another trial last week. It was better than his first trial, which was impressive. So he's back. He's obviously had a couple of feet issues, but he's a tactical, versatile horse. He can sometimes need the run first up, but I think John O'Shea screwed down to get that Everest slot. And the other one is In Secret. She was phenomenal first up. I think if Shelby 66 doesn't annoy those front runners and she lands that pair close in the run, I think she probably beats Remark. So In Secret, clearly on top early doors. Price dependent, she'll probably come up short, but Lost and Running is probably the one that the market may miss, Louis, and come up big odds.
Yep, you are spot on about this being a good Everest lead-up for the Shorts. We had Nature Strip run second in it in 2021, then win the Everest. We had Classic Legend win it, then go to the Premier, then win the Everest in 2020. And you've also got Red Zell's first win 2017, won the Concord, then the Shorts, then the Everest. So it's a good race. I am going to go again, no market, so hard to tell, but I'm going to go with Buenos Noches, who I think was unreal first up, albeit in a Group 3 beating Argentia and Dragonstone. Argentia hasn't been bad since, but it's not obviously the strongest form reference of all time. But, gee, I think it was good. It's trialled again since. It won that trial. I think this is really furnishing into a really serious horse. Always been a good one, no doubt, and was, perhaps unlucky not to win a Group 2 or Group 1 at some stage last preparation, third in the Coolmore Stud, etc. But, Buenos Noches for me, I think is flying and he's going to give this a real shake. In Secret. 1,000 metres was too short. 1,100 now will be better. I want to be against Remark. I think, look, if Remark was to come out and win this, then I'd really have to take a cold shower and go, okay, this could be a horse here. But I'm still not convinced. And I knew someone had mentioned Lost and Running. Fair dinkum. When are you giving up on Lost and Running? How many more chances? And that's with respect to the horse, but how many more chances is this horse getting every time it goes?
This is the first chance. So I don't think I've ever been with it. So
no, I'm not looking at you on the left. I'm looking at you on the right with the AirPods.
But usually, if we can get Dino to drop off, he'll probably lob. So
yeah,
that's usually how it works. Is one run too early, Dino. But I think this is a really intriguing race. I don't know what to do with it at the moment. I think the barriers and the speed map will play a huge part. What I will say is, I suspect Overpass will just come out and fly. Plenty of speed here.
First up.
Yeah,
it's good first up. Real good.
Yeah, so I suspect it's going to be the one that's ready to go really well. Private Eye has to run okay. Like, there's just so many if, buts, and maybes here. Let's see what we've got to play with in the betting market. But if Overpass comes up with a double-figure price, then I'm happy to probably spec it. Now, one more race that I'm really keen to chat and digest is the T Rose Stakes. Let me throw a few of these runners out at you. Autumn Ballet. Captain Amelia, we saw her go around at Gosford. We can probably let her go through to the keeper. Mumbai Muse hasn't been awful. Platinum Jubilee. My old mate Summer Lovin getting closer to the mile. Can't wait to see her there. And his Invincible, Tata Levita. Dino, what are your thoughts on the T-Rose?
Yeah, it's just rinse and repeat, isn't it, of the Furious Stakes? I think up to the 1,400 metres. I think that's the big tick for the challengers against Tiz Invincible. In saying that, I think it's a big tick for Tiz Invincible as well. I think soft tempo, the Furious Stakes, her last 200 metres just scream, get me out. Another 200 metres. The tempo's the query, but if Tropical Squall goes around, I think they'll inject a lot of tempo into this race and a couple of others. I think that's the key to their chances. I think the difference between Komochi and Tiz Invincible is tactical versatility. I think that's what won the race in the Furious. So I've been bullish on her. Tiz Invincible, can't wait to see her in the Flight Stakes, and I've got her firmly on top here, Louis.
Yep, I'm going to stick Komochi by the barest of threads, but I'm sticking. I think you're right, Dino, that the tactical versatility is killing Komochi at the moment, but I know that she's going very well. The third Autumn Ballet was getting closer last start. If you go back to the Percy Sykes, which she ran third in at Group 2 level, she sat third and fourth. She can be on speed, and I think now, fitter, deeper into the campaign, barrier dependent, I'm hoping they can just settle that pair or two closer. Gives us so much more chance of breaking through and beating some of these and turning the tables. So third up and out to 1,400 metres, barrier dependent. I'm hoping they can be closer. And I'm going to stick with Komochi. I just think I'd be silly to jump off now if I've liked what I've seen so far.
Love it, Lou. Yeah, well, I did leave it out when I read our nominations. That was an oversight. It's clearly one of the big chances in the race. But I think Tis Invincible, it's her race to lose. I think 1,400 metres is very, very good for Summer Lovin'. It's going to get to a mile and win. It's probably one of the better maidens going around. But that's that race, gents. Righto, the Everest picture, has it become any clearer for you, or is it just murkier now? Nation Strip been retired. Eduardo on the way out has been retired as well. Then you've got Sunshine in Paris putting her hand up on the weekend in what was a very, very impressive run. I don't think you could mark anything else. And Imperatrice, they say she's not going here, but who knows there. Is it murkier or any clearer for you, Louis?
Murkier. I think because the biggest thing about losing those old champions, Nation Strip, Eduardo, etc., who's leading this race? Where is the speed coming from in this race? Giga Kick. Well, okay, sure. So then, in which case, if Overpass gains a slot, I'd be happy to probably back it. To be honest, it's not. Is it better than Giga Kick? I Wish I Win. And think about it. Maybe not.
Is there a young horse from maybe Baker Stable as well that might be heading there?
No, I don't know.
Well backed in market. One of the, I can't remember. Osmosis has been really heavily backed in markets, suggesting it may be getting a slot as well.
I just think you have to start picking horses or thinking about horses if you want to take on those big four that can go forward. And there isn't, like, Marzu has versatility, but it's no leader. It'll be closer than a few of the others, but it's certainly no leader. I'm unsure. Imperatrice, what are they doing? Fair income, and this is
she's got speed too.
They are so much smarter than I am, without a doubt. The Tialcow team. But they are leaving $20 million just laying on the table. They're just you could just reach out now and grab it.
Well, you get 7, and then they're probably going to give half of it away. So now it's only 3, and then you know what I mean. So it seems fantastic. And then you're talking about breeding.
Group 1s are great. Don't get me wrong. Huge for the breeding profile. I saw a pretty interesting comment, and it's likely correct that she goes better that way of going anyway compared to the Sydney way. But fair income. Oh man, and people will go, you work at Sky and blah blah. You're going to pump up the Everest. Forget all that. How can you not be going there?
Well, it's real simple. If you wanted to lob there, you're the ATC or you tap. Put your big boy pants on and you say you can have all the prize money because this is going to be one of the biggest marketing plays the Everest has ever seen. Let's pull the trigger and go there, and away you go because they're all flying. Dano, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that point's interesting. The race is worth $20 million, and the winner only gets 7. Yeah. But
must be tough.
You know what I mean?
Must be tough. We've got one going around in the provincial benchmark 64 in Newcastle on Saturday.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like, you got the King Charles worth $5 million, and the winner gets $3 million. I'm just looking at it in that perspective. So, I think it's getting harder after the weekend. I think the only query with Overpass is if he actually gets a slot. I think he's dynamic first up, but I think he tails off after his prep. Yeah. So if I was picking him, I'd want him fresh. So I think that's the query with him. I think the 2 horses that are yet to be found are Osmosis and King's Gambit. I think a 3-year-old has to get picked up, and they're the only 2 that I'm thinking now. I'm against that run to the Rose form from the weekend. So market-wise, King Gambit, Osmosis are probably still long enough that you could sort of chime in. And what you need, he goes around this weekend. So if he's going to be there, you'd probably suggest if he runs well, his price is going to shorten. But I think it's wide open. I'd love to see Imperatrice there. She's got that tactical versatility too and can go forward. So the other one I mentioned is In Secret, who goes around in the short. So I think it just gets harder, which probably makes the race even better.
Exactly. I feel like we're probably in for the best edition of the Everest we've seen to date. I think it's fantastic. I can't wait. And I think it'd be even better if Imperatrice gets there. I don't think she's over the line at all. I thought what we saw on Saturday was very, very, very good. But different kettle of fish. And we can all often, as punters and racing enthusiasts, get way too excited too early. I'd love to see her there, and I'd love to see her do it. It'd be fantastic. Now, gents, Golden Rose looks like we're having another cracking edition of the Golden Rose. And I know that Charmstone's been met with nice support, still under 350, Shinzo 450 first up. Charmstone, $8. King Colorado, a horse I've got a lot of time for, $8. Militarize, $8. Give me an early play. It doesn't have to be a betting play, but who do you think wins the Golden Rose, Dino?
King Colorado, I'm keen to be against Run of the Rose form, which normally is the best form. 0.7 lengths separated first to 6 in that race. I'm looking for something to come outside of that, which I think is King Colorado. Comes through the Wink Stakes. That trial the other day was superb. His only jink, I guess, is his sort of his racing pattern. And then obviously you've got Shinzo, who's going to go first up into the Rose. They're the two I'd look for, and I think King Colorado will start closer to favourite than around that $6 price now, Louis.
Don't know if it's going to the Guineas, Caulfield Guineas, or this, but at $51, and do you get your money back if it doesn't nominate?
It's your company, mate.
Yeah, true. I should ask. Brave Mead, $51 is one I'd be willing to spec, because I agree with Dino. I think you have to start looking outside that form line. I don't like any of those at the top. King Colorado, yep, sure, good. And Cap was all right. But did have a good run. Yeah, $51 Brave Mead. Just a little spec there. Cafe Millennium too. Where's it going? What's its plan? Anyone?
Spring Champions.
Champions.
Just
well, it's going well.
Wait for that horse to get to Randwick and could be borderline unstoppable.
Yeah, it's going well.
Yeah, King Colorado for mine. I just think it's a great bet. I think it'll win the race and win pretty much anything he lines up in. I hope he goes to the Cox Plate. I think he's a special horse. It been out of sight, out of mind, that run. And I was maybe went a little bit, off my head a little bit when I suggested probably should have won the Winks, but gee whiz. Wouldn't have been far away.
That's anyway, not like you to make outlandish statements, isn't it, Gannon?
Exactly right. That's what we're paid to do. That's why we get paid the D-bucks, Lou. Righto. Now, I know I've kept you waiting, and I'll drag this out as long as possible. Horses to follow from the weekend. Louis, mate, you're keen. You're up and about. Why don't you kick us off?
Yep. I want you to put this one in your black book,
yeah.
Because it'll be bobbing up in a black type race, Group 2, Group 3, at good odds and be running very, very well, filling a hole, if not winning. A horse by the name of Flying Crazy went to the Theo Marks on Saturday, finished 10th, right? Sat last.
You must have been listening to the review this morning, Luke.
Well, no, I wouldn't tune into that if you paid me, but ran 10th, huge through the line. It was $101. I'm telling you, it'll bob up Group 2 or Group 3 level at not 101, but even half that you'd take, and it'll be running very well. Flying Crazy.
Loves his value. I'm going to throw Cap for Ray in there. I think potentially one of the better maidens going around. And let's just hope the Wallace stable are pretty smart. Might lob in a listed or a group race, but also could turn up in a Wednesday at Canterbury or Warwick Farm and also brain them. So that's the horse for me to follow, Cap for Ray. Dino?
I like the May Roses run in the first, in the midway. I think up to 40 meters he can be winning next start. I thought Tom Kinton was outstanding. I think he'll win wherever he goes next. And I had another one that I wanted to mention. I think it was Airman in the last. Oh, I love this first up run. A red card absolutely spanked them, which Gannon was keen on. But I think if they send Airman down to Flemington straight, I doubt they'll beat him there. So really keen to follow Airman. I think he's a proper horse.
Without a shadow of a doubt, that horse had zero chance of winning on Saturday, Airman, and will be going enormous. I'd love to see red card down the straight as well. I think that'd be a nice clash to see those two, because that was just impressive. Gee, I love to watch that replay all day. Righto, boys, midweek best bets. I'm going to kick off at Canterbury, race 6, number 1, Espresso, not Espresso, but Espresso. For Nathan Doyle, just finds a much easier race than what it's been running against. I think it was beaten, 2.3 lengths behind Extravagant Star. I got a feeling that horse has got a bit of upside. Goes back to the midweeks here. No jockey nominated, but rolls forward and gives a huge sight. Race 6, number 1, Espresso. Dino?
Yeah, race 1, number 8, Macarena, boys.
Cut that up, Luke. Cut that up. Make a gif.
No, not do that. Race 1, number 8, Macarena should win. 4 round Nadal, who ran 3rd in the Run to the Rose on the weekend.
Luke, didn't you blow up when that got beat as well? You went right off.
Yeah, and that just makes it worse on the weekend, Louis.
That was going to be my bet too, Macarena. I'm also keen on it. Sorry, Dino, I'll probably lose now. Interesting to see the last at Canterbury on Wednesday is an interesting one. Greece is in there. Makybe, which was a debut winner. The Swooper's not too bad. Capital Heart goes well for John O'Shea. All down the bottom of the page in terms of saddlecloth number. So I'm going to tip Makybe, who I thought was good winning on debut. The trials leading in weren't anything special, and the trial it's had since nor anything special. But I don't know. I think it could be a race day kind of horse. Wide draw. concerning. See what price we get. But I think it's okay, Mikhail.
Louis, just on Greece as well, you'll find he's also nominated for race 5, number 8, Greece, in that race. So probably won't get a start in the last, being an emergency. But if you are a Greece fan, race 5, and some decent form lines there around Gaza Blanca that came out and got the job done last start as well. So also, I'm very keen to follow
wrap on it. Greece.
Yeah.
Its trials have been absolutely awful. Couldn't back him in the last dollar. So maybe,
Australia will
I'll be concerned.
Well, if Australia beats at home, you'll probably give up the game. Right, boys, it's been plenty of fun. Can't wait. It's a shame the markets went out. But what we'll do for you punters, make sure you look into the comments section, because once the odds are out, Dino will jump on, Lou will jump on, and we'll all just chime in with a couple of horses we think are value. Please give us a comment. Send us some love. Yeah, your engagement is our oxygen. It'll keep Louis turning up because he's got bigger and better things to do, no doubt. Dino and I don't. But give us some love. Let us know. I think he may have tipped you into Pinstripe last week. Bit dubious, but we'll have to go back on.
Check the tapes. I don't know. Check the tapes.
Upstairs, boys.
Upstairs. But anyway, up the chooks. It's going to be a big week for Louis at Roosters training, and we'll catch you all next week.
All right. Ciao.